Hey everybody, Professor Paul here. I wanted to give you a bonus video, and I know we went over some of this stuff inside the training in terms of how you do a physical skill and a little bit about how to do the mental skills, but you can never use too many examples, especially when it comes time for you to do it and I'm not there. So I want to give you an extra bonus video on how to do this, and we'll do one that's kind of a mental exercise, how you can gain a skill from somebody mentally, and how you can learn a physical skill from somebody. Okay, so two great examples. We'll do the mental one. I'm a professional speaker. How do you do that? That was an interesting choice for me because when I was younger, I was deathly afraid of speaking in public. When I knew I had to give a class presentation, I would get physically ill for about 4 to 5 days before, and even when it was over, another 2 or 3 days minimum. This is horrible. I had horrible anxiety when public speaking. So if you said, Paul, I want to learn your specific system for doing this, and I want to use the Neuro-Linguistic Programming techniques. So what do? You use the VAK system. Paul, what do you picture when you're going up on stage and having this experience? What do you hear? What's auditory for you? What's kinesthetic? What do you feel? So let me go through each of those. When I'm up on stage, what I picture prior to going up on stage, in my mind, lock it in my mind, this is my mental system, how I create my reality through the VAK system. I picture the thing going amazingly well. I picture wonderful, beautiful people out there in the audience. I imagine that they're all my friends, and they're smiling, and they're excited, and they're just so eager to learn. They've been waiting all day long, literally sitting there, waiting for a great presenter to come up, that's me, and teach them things that are going to dramatically change their life. Where they may have had 5 or 6 presentations before me, and they were kind of okay, you learned something, and they were a good talker, and they told good stories, but you didn't walk away with the kind of skills that I gave them. So that's what I want you to picture in your mind. I want you to picture your mind going back and forth the stage and seeing yourself up on the stage. What usually makes people nervous is looking out into the audience. We're not afraid of the stage. Nobody's ever been hurt by a stage. Nobody's been physically attacked by a stage, not to my knowledge. But looking at yourself from the audience's perspective, just like you're seeing me on camera, that's what takes away the nervousness. And you picture yourself doing great, using good hand gestures, feeling good, looking good, smelling good. Fantastic. Now you got the visual part. It's you just being yourself up on stage, being very relaxed, and seeing a bunch of friends in the audience. That's the visual. Now the auditory, what do you hear? I basically only hear myself talking, my normal phrases, my normal speech. I try to remove any ums and ahs as I'm going through my presentations. I'm kind of mentally thinking it through from an auditory perspective. And I just imagine myself having fun and telling jokes. And for me, it's not I don't give speeches and presentations. Remember, I'm deathly afraid of those. I have chats with my friends. And what I remember one time, and this is part of the philosophy background, it's outside the VAK system, but it's that belief system that you need to know to have somebody's true thought system to be able to duplicate their success. My belief system is that I'm just having a conversation with friends. And I thought to myself, well, if it's just a conversation with friends, it's probably the numbers that are making you nervous. Well, what makes you nervous when you're talking to 1 friend, 2 friends, 3 friends, 4 friends, 5 friends, 10 friends, 100 friends, 1,000, 10,000, 60,000? You give one presentation, you're retired. Okay? How many is it? And then I realized, oh, I'm afraid of numbers. That's stupid. Why do numbers matter? They really don't. And I let it go. I kept pushing that in my head. Why would a number matter? What would my cutoff be? And I realized it was just imaginary. So I stopped imagining it. Now, so that's the visual, that's the auditory, and a little bit of the belief system that removes some of the nervousness. What's the kinesthetic? The kinesthetic is I move on the stage. Anytime I get a little nervous, I walk over here. I get a little nervous, I walk over here. I want to relieve some tension, I change my position. I can talk with my hands. I can give a demonstration, so I feel like more I'm presenting, hey, look what's on the board here. It's not about me. The great information is all here. I'm just telling you about it. If I did enough text, you could probably read it off yourself, okay? So the focus goes from them to me to the board, to them to me to the board. There's nothing that I really focus on for too long to ever get too nervous about it. Kinesthetically, I'll do things like hold my fingers like this, you know? Or I'll put my hands in my pocket and I walk around like that. Why? Because you can't be any more relaxed than walking around with your hands in your pocket. Now, having said that, I'll tell you a funny incident. I remember there was one guy at Toastmasters, and he put his hands in his pockets because he heard that technique and he thought that would make him more relaxed. And what he did was he was jingling the stuff in his pockets through the whole presentation nervously, and he never realized it until he saw it on tape. So keep your hands relaxed, don't jingle the stuff in your pockets, and you'll be all right. Okay, so that's how you would do a mental skill and match it with somebody. And always have a sit down with them too. What's your philosophy? What do you think about? How did you decompress in that situation? Look for their mental strategies as well as the VAK system. Now, let's do a physical one. Now, the other thing that I used to do is I'm a martial artist, so I teach Kung Fu. I've got a black belt in Hakahayupo Kung Fu, so I do that. And I remember my instructor had a favorite practice dummy. His name was Paul. Yeah, that's me. I thought the guy was picking on me because basically, when you were the practice dummy, you were the guy that he punched, you were the guy that he flipped, you were the guy that he threw down the ground. I had a conversation with him about that, and I said, how come you always pick me to, be the practice dummy, from the root word dummy. That probably was me at the time. But he said, Paul, I don't do it to pick on you. I do it to give you a unique perspective. There's like 20 other people in the class, and you and maybe one other guy are getting thrown on your butt or getting punched or getting kicked. When I do that, think of the VAK system. You're visually seeing it from another perspective. You get to hear the footsteps and the thud on the floor. You are tactily feeling, this is probably the most important, how much pressure I'm putting on, what the direction is, what tension I'm putting on muscles and joints, the overall motion of it and how it flows, how your weight shifts and as you get off balance, how you get twisted and what that feels like in your body. This gives you a huge perspective. Everybody else just sees it from the audience except you and one other guy. I have the other guy, so you can be in the audience and you can see it too. Now you've got two perspectives because you're my best student and everybody else has one. I'm not picking on you. I'm kind of crapping on the rest of the class. If I had time, I would punch and kick and throw everybody. Class just isn't that long. So see how that works? Visual, auditory, and especially in this case, because it's a physical thing, kinesthetic. So I hope that gives you some more great examples. I hope that helps you with the course. I hope that helps you as you practice NLP for mastery, success, and just a fantastic life. My name is Professor Paul. I'm with Advanced Ideas. Our goal is to make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'll see you at the next training.